Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, mood boards. Now we've all been placing out our fabric ready for the start of our project treasure hunt, and we've been creating these mood boards, a gathering of items together to sort of set us on our path of how our piece will come together. And a big part of that is colour. I think the treasure part of it's going to be reasonably simple. The girls will give us a prompt and off we go on our treasure hunt to find something that connects back to that prompt. Now, if you're going to be doing treasures of fabric and stitch is part of it in a big way, other than just finding an object, you sort of need to have a bit of an idea of the colours that you're going towards. Now, my project, I'm doing a dress on Honey Bear is one of my projects, as well as the journal, the Seamstress Mannequin, and the placement of fabrics around the piece of cross stitch. So there's the 4 of them. Honey Bear at the moment is the one that's really sticking in my mind as where will I go from now. So I have my mood board, the colours, but as you can see, there's so many. And the seamstress is going to go through here with these reds, but that then sort of leaves Honey Bear. Is she lavender? Is she blue? A combination of all? Is she the more taupey colours? So what I thought I might do with the mood board project is just take it one step further and create some mood boards that will go into my journal, and I'll actually stitch them like a slow stitch piece. So back in the day when I was at school and uni, we'd make a mood board and you'd cut out little swatches of things and attach them to a board. That's pretty much what a mood board is. So what I want to do is take that concept of a mood board into the slow stitch world and create some mood boards of colours out of those fabrics that Honey Bear can choose from. I think it'll give me a really good sense of what's going to look good with what. I'm sure there'll be one of them that just goes, that's it, that's Honey Bear's dress. Now those swatches of stitched fabric will go into my journal, which I think I just said. So I sat down to start this video, and like usual, I headed off on a completely different tangent because it's her dress. What am I going to make the dress out of? Now, my basis for the pattern is this dolly here, because I know the dress works and I know it gives me a lot of surface to work on because it's got a very full skirt. The trick is, being this is all about being a seamstress and I'm sort of not a seamstress, is I've got to make this dress fit her body. Isn't that always the way? We're modifying outfits to suit what we actually look like. I'm probably a little bit more like Honey Bear. Thanks, Honey Bear. I'm certainly not this catwalk model that's lying here, but I don't think it'll be too hard. So the next question I got is, what is the fabric that I'm going to make her dress out of? Now I'm just going to pop her up here out of the way for a minute. I've got my coffee sitting here. I need to move it because that is going to be trouble. Okay, Honey Bear, let's talk fabric. My instinct is to go to calico because it's just lightweight. It's what do you say? What am I trying to say? It's neutral. But I sort of, when I went to grab it, I felt like it just didn't quite suit. I don't know, it might be okay for bits and pieces that adorn the dress, but for the actual dress, I just don't think it's going to work. This piece I got out to actually be the base to my mood boards for my journal. And that's when I was like, well, what am I actually going to make the dress out of? Because that piece of fabric needs to be the base of the mood board as well. So I went looking in my cupboard and I found this beautiful linen. And I'm quite impressed with the way it matches. So this is going to be her little pinafore. Now, fabric, have I got enough? That's the next question. So I thought, well, I better get the pattern out. So this is how I went down this blooming tangent. And I thought I'd better turn the camera on before I get stuck into something and leave you guys behind. This is a little dress. So we need to work out how I made the little dress. And have I got enough fabric? I'm pretty sure I would have, that I could confidently cut a couple rectangles out for my mood board. But I just wanted to work out where and how I make the dress. Here we go. Cut the skirt 48 centimetres by 50 centimetres. Cut 2 bodices on the double layer of fabric. Note the placement of the pattern with right sides together. Join the bodices along the shoulder seams. Machine gather each skirt piece along the 50 centimetre edge. Gather to the front bottom edges of the bodice. Pin right sides together. Sew the skirt to the bodice. Place the dress right sides together and sew the side seams to the skirt. So from the sleeve edge to the skirt hem, so that's the underarm. Clip, turn, hem, add your lace, start, finish. Okay. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. Let me have a look at the little girl. I did this in 2020. I had the pattern for blooming years. And then when the lockdown happened, I thought, oh my goodness, I can't get out. Let's go to the cupboard and pull out some kits that I had. I see. So the seam on the shoulder is, all right. That's the fold. So I guess the biggest challenge I've got is Honey Bear's neck is pretty much the same. So thank goodness I don't have to alter that. It's just her sleeves. They need to be a little bit shorter because her arms aren't as long as this dolly's arms. And I would say, where's the bodice pattern? Pocket, bodice. Let's just have a little look at that. I would say I'd need to take a bit of fullness out of that sleeve. Or do I? Because she could have some pretty big puffy sleeves. Guess we can always shape it a little bit if we find that it's too big across the sleeve. So that seam there is through the centre of Honey. That goes around her neck. Yeah, like I thought, the neck is going to be pretty close. It's just her little itty bitty, her little arms. So they are puffy. So I probably would even go past her arm a little bit. Or I think that would be pretty close. The only thing is I think we might need to take a bit of fullness out of the actual piece, but that's okay. That we can do. Because what I'm thinking I'm going to need to do is go ahead and cut these pieces out for Honey, because we're going to be stitching things onto her. So I'm thinking I need to make her little dress in its entirety. And then yeah, I'm just sort of thinking through the process. I think I'll make her dress fully finished, fitted to her. Well, not fitted because I don't want to be dragging Honey Bear everywhere. I just need the little dress that I can pick it up each fortnight and do some work on it. Okay. Well, the pattern is going to work. So we'll put that away for a rainy day. I will cut all that out, stitch it together. I won't do that on camera because I can't really get my sewing machine and camera system together, but I think you got the general gist of how the little pinafore is going to come together. So that can happen ready for the start of the project. This fabric is definite. It's nice and lightweight, so I feel like we're going to be fine there. Okay. All right, just need to get that little step out of my head. I'm going to push the fabrics back a bit for now. And let's have a look at this journal. The next thing I've got to work out is how I'm going to present the journal so that it's user-friendly and doesn't just keep breaking to bits without losing the integrity of the beauty of everything. So, for example, it needs reinforcing if I'm going to use this as my spine. And I'm going to cover this writing, so I'm very reluctant to do that. I've got flaky paper everywhere. If I peel that up, I'm going to lose some of the integrity of the piece. Isn't that funny? There's a watermark there and it's actually upside down. Is the book upside down? No. There you go. They put that piece of paper on upside down. There's a watermark there as well. I still really need to think about this cover. Do I create my book away from this cover and we put it in as like a concertina, so it's anchored in here at some point and then out comes my book? I guess it depends on what my journal evolves into because it's a mix of paper and fabric. I don't want to stitch into this at all. So I think stitching signatures into this is just not an option. Midori style journal is an option where we put some eyelets here, here, here and here and run some cord through and then my pages slip into it. That's an option. But I guess, do I want to pierce this? And then I get back to how strong is this? Can it even be used? Do I just use this as a wrap? So my journal stands on its own and this is just the beautiful piece that goes around it. That's an option. Okay, more to think about, but not today. Got some calico. I always start with calico as my base to any slow stitch I do. Usually gets covered up, but I don't mind if it peeks out a little bit. So I need a piece that is going to fit the journal. Now it can be, I've got a selvage there. Can I pull this off without that selvage? Yeah, I think I can. I'm going to remove the selvage. That'll give me a nice straight edge. I think if you're making something that's going to have, I guess, some of colours that you're just not sure how much of a colour you want to be showing, a mood board is a good way to test it. It's like the designers do that in the fashion houses. They will, what am I doing here? They will create mood boards for a whole fashion line and they'll make heaps and heaps of them just so that they get their exact colour combination that they're looking for. It's a really economical way than making a heap of dresses. You create these mood boards. Am I doing this the most economical way? Probably not. Probably that is the way we should do it. Yes, that's how we should be doing it. I'm just channeling Grandma here a little bit. She would be, make the most out of your fabric. It's a little bit skew with our piece of fabric, but that's typical. So I'm just going to cut it. If you're adding it into a stitchery journal scenario, I'm just going to cut it to the size of this here. It's a bit skew. If you use cheaper fabrics, you can expect it to be a little bit wonky. All right. So there's my first template. let's get this out of the way. I'm thinking along the lines of a wrap, you know. It just wraps around the piece. We can do some decorating on it, but at the moment that's where my head is, to be honest. But I don't know, maybe as the project goes on, I'll feel a little braver and be happy enough to chop into it. Well, not chop into it, but, you know, modify it. So I don't have many beautiful books like that. So it's nearly coming out of Hoardsville, as Rachel would say. So to stitch into it and make it into a journal cover, like in the way we would normally, feels a little bit difficult for me at the moment. Maybe if I had 20 of them, I'd be like, punch a hole and away we go. I'm going to cut a few out because I think I'm going to make 4. A pink, a purple, a blue, and a neutral. And that then would give me 4 sides in the journal, like 4 pages, 1 signature. You'll see in the description below too, I've found the correct name for the company that I bought that fabric from. So just go to the description if you'd like to get some of these types of fabrics. And they have the linens, and then they mix in there some cottons as well. Oh, goodness me. Threads everywhere. Let's get one more out of this. There's that washing machine beeping. I'm attempting to do some housework in between stitching. It's not going to go well because I know what'll happen. I'll end up sitting to do some stitching and that'll be it. The washing machine will sit there till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So there's my future mood boards. Okay. Now what I might do is I need my panel, my grey mat back. So as much as I've enjoyed looking at all of these pretty fabrics, I need to get these back in order. I need to find a storage box too for them so that the project is packed up, ready to go. Oh, don't you just love fabric when it's in this stage? It's not yet destroyed by scissors and you. Oh boy. I can't see me doing a all brown dress for her. I could see the Mannequin having a bit of that tone because it's a bit of a neutral and then being glammed up with lace. Maybe that mood board will develop into something. Okay, so we've got ourselves our base. Now our fabric for her dress, we need to be very mindful that we need a 50 centimetre piece by, what was it, 45. Before I go chop, chop, where'd the pattern get to? What was the skirt again? 48 by 50, so 48 long by 50 centimetres wide. Was it? Where's my little tape measure? It shouldn't be a problem. So 50 wide is just one side. and 48 tall. And I don't even need her dress to be that tall. I would say, because she's only got a little body and it connects in here at the bottom of the bodice. So I would say that, let's say her bodice is there to the end of the fabric. That's 30 centimeters, and that's before I put a lace underskirt on, or who knows. So I'm going to say a 35 centimeter piece of fabric would be oodles and oodles. So I might just mark that on there. 35. 50, yeah, we'll stick with that because it's going to need a little bit of fullness to it to give me surface. Yeah. That's the skirt. And then cut 2 of the bodice, which is that other piece. So I'd be pretty confident I can get everything I need out of that for her pinafore. Her panel for the skirt, and then if I fold it a bit, I should be able to get off the back the bodice, even if, where's that piece? Let's just double check. I would be very disappointed if it wouldn't fit. I could make the bodice out of a different fabric. So where's the fold? Let's pretend that that folded up. So we've cut the skirt panel out. That's the rectangle. I've got a rectangle left on the table, and I'm going to fold it in half to see if I can get the bodice out of it. It's a bit tight. But if I made her skirt a little bit bigger, I would definitely get the bodice out of that. One there, one there. And I'd probably find that see, that's pretty good. So what is that now? So it's about 40 centimeters. Just excuse me, I've gone on off on a tangent. I think I'm going to cut that piece of fabric out, guys. I'm going to, then I know I've got it. Okay, we're going down another rabbit hole here. We're now, oh my goodness sakes. Now all the dressmakers out there are going to be like, just double check it twice, girl, you're chopping away. What have we got? 20 centimeters there. There. And 20 there. It's not exactly straight, it doesn't matter. It's doll's clothes. It gets a little bit thick there, but once it's hemmed, nothing underneath. Okay, now this is available for our mood board. This is her skirt and potentially her little dress. Now the skirt, they said, was 35. Is that correct? Check it twice, cut once. In my case, check it 14 times before you cut anything, girl. See, I wrote 35 and it's actually 48. Where'd I get 35 from, guys? Oh my goodness. This is why I didn't become a dressmaker. 35 was the yep, I gotcha. 50. All right. 35 was this measurement. 50 is this. Oh, gosh, that was only a thought 10 minutes ago. So how has that gone so pear-shaped so quickly? So I'm just going to measure now that 50 centimetre markings. Like I said, it's not going to be exact because I still feel like this is way too big for Honey Bear, this skirt, but I don't know, she is rotundous. So I might just grab my set square. I sat down as the start of this video to make a mood board, and now I'm making a blooming dress in preparation for our project. But that's okay, it's all part of the getting everything ready. So now I only need one layer of fabric. So I'm just going to cut through here. And this is the skirt part of Honey Bear. That's a bit crooked, but that's okay. Can't tell me those big fashion houses are straight cutters. So that is going to gather up around her little bodice with a seam and become her little dress. If it doesn't fit her, because she's a big girl, we got a problem. But it fits. It fits. Okay, Honey Bear, your little dress is going to be just fine. All right, and of course then we will get the bodice out of that, no problems, which will be just a case of place and cut. All righty, let's put that away. We know we've got enough fabric put aside for her little pinafore. So let's grab back the mood board. Let's get back on track. Gosh, you never know where my videos are going to go because I literally just go wherever. Oh my goodness. Let's pop that away. That's not needed now until we cut out the bodice, which I've got my little piece kept out. Put that to one side. Mood boards. Stay focused, go. If you find your calico or your muslin's a little bit warped up one side, pull on the diagonal and sometimes you can get it reasonably square again. So we've got this piece of fabric left now that we can use to create some little mood boards. So what's the best way to get maximum out? I think this way. It's beautiful fabric. I'm so used to stitching on calico. It's going to be, yeah, that's nice. 25 centimeters. Let's fold it over so we will get that out of there, no problems. Now I can't tear this because it's linen, so I will need to oops. Well, I feel like I'm achieving something. I've got my head around her little dress. I've got enough fabric to do mood board plus bits and pieces out of this one piece of linen, which is great. I've had this linen since my cross stitch days. I think I had planned to do a cross stitch on it and just never got to it. I used to always use Aida cloth where the little holes are already pre-marked, And I much prefer that because I didn't have to think too hard about keeping all my stitches perfect. Just going to cut. Four. So instead of putting a piece of fabric down to represent the dress, the base piece is the dress. So now we are really getting a snapshot of what all of these fabrics will look like on the actual pinafore. Okay, nice little morsel. So we just need the one. We need a base. This will help sort of give my hands something to grip onto. No, there is a right side and a wrong side. You can just ever so slight difference. I'll need to iron it. That's going to annoy me. Okay, so there's all our bits. Let's put that over there. Now, what are we going to play with first? I think we need to get blue out of the system. So let's have a little look. There was a stripe here. That's a scrap. Let's start with that. Where's a piece that's not curling? It's going to annoy me. And I can iron that and use that in the next video. Let's get one of these. That's better. Okay. So, blue. Let's get ourselves a bit of stripe on there. Stripes going long down your body make you look taller and leaner and that. So Honey Bear could do with stripes going down. Oh, I love that. What's this fabric look like? Is there an opportunity to embroider something like this? Maybe. Okay, so there's like darks and lights. Not a lover of those. They sort of remind me a bit of furniture. I don't think I'd use that, so I think I could eliminate that from the range. Oh, I do like the twile. But is Honey Bear a twile girl? Oh. Aren't they pretty? There's an opportunity to get a flower out there. Not a flower, an image there. I like this children playing. That'd be pretty on the bottom of her skirt or something, just a little image of the children playing. It might be good for a feature piece for this mood board too, because there's other images there. And I think there's twile through the whole thing. The little girl. See the kids playing here with the sheep. Oh. I'm just going to keep that out because that there. Oh, I'm going to cut it out. That's it. It's coming out. I do like that. I like the idea of having some little images like that on her dress. So let's get a little image onto our mood board. Oh, that pepper. Noisy girl. Yeah, I like that. What else is here that catches my eye? Got to stay in the blues. I do like that. It feels like a bit of a wallpaper fabric. Let's take a piece of that. Probably don't need the whole strip, but I'll cut it anyway. We'll use it somewhere. So I'm just sorting through this massive pile of fabrics here, picking out my favourites and creating some combinations that I feel are pleasing to the eye. I'm just placing them, see what they look like. Does it feel like a colour scheme yet? Does it feel... Oh, we've got to give honey bear stripes down, remember? It's flattering to the figure. So do we do that? Don't know yet. So we've used those two. I do like that, but I just don't know. The spot, I think that's a definite too. Oh, look at that one there. It's the match to that. How beautiful. Another toile. So I'm spoilt for choice. There's just so much here. So look, my tendency is to go real floral. That's interesting. I think I could add another piece. This here looks interesting. What's on the other side? I like those little flowers. That there is a pretty little piece. So he's joined the party. Really is a case of mucking around with it till you feel like you've got a combination or a style that suits it. I feel like that it's just not quite right. You could spend hours doing this. You really could, which makes it a lot of fun. I think this piece needs to be pulled over and shortened up a bit. It's just a bit too... Those dogs have had a big play session and now they're at my window puffing away. Looking at me like a pair of gooses. See, maybe I do need a spot in there. So there's a few different spots. I do love this. This is a pretty little fabric. I think we need a couple little bits of this. I think it's going to freshen up the piece. The other thing I could consider is making her bodice some of these fabrics, but I don't know. It's going to eliminate the opportunity to really finish a sentence. Really play with fabrics if I start filling her bodice with prints, is what I'm trying to say. I'm getting sidetracked with my thoughts. I think I need a dark spot. It's just a case of fiddling with it until you get your right look that you want, you know, aesthetically pleasing. Now, she's going to have for sure doilies and bits and pieces like that. But I think at this stage, I just want to get the colours down. I don't think I'll go into putting on laces and things onto this. It's really just about samples of the fabrics that I really like. I feel like I could do with something in there. Let's have another little look. Oh, that's a pretty one too. Do we just do a little piece of that or a big piece? I think we'll do a little piece. Gosh, you could fiddle with this for hours. You really could. I try to not have can't you tell I'm concentrating? I try not to have lines line up like that edge and that edge of those two pieces of fabric have just met. So if that means that this one gets trimmed back in order to lower its edge and that one comes into there, possibly. I don't mind that. It's like the florals are skipping across. Yeah, I don't mind that. That one there could probably be shortened up a little bit, but maybe it's because it looks crooked. Maybe it's a bit of a crooked piece, so it's not sitting. Oh, honeybee, you're going to have flowers on your dress. Look at that. You're going to have some base stripes and spots. Now I could do with something down here, and I think that would be pretty close. I'm going to trim that. Like that. like that. Maybe even like that. That feels better. Let's push this guy back a little bit. Yep. See, that little edge there could have a lace tucked in under it. I just pull that little bit down so I can see just the peak of that fabric underneath. I need something here. What can we put there? Do we put a piece of lace on there? I wasn't going to do lace, but maybe I go to my French lace. Hold that thought, guys. I'm just going to grab my French bits and pieces. Yeah, I think I might need to. The in amongst this lace was some collars, so there's an opportunity that one of these antique collars gets added to her. See these ones here? Like there's that one as well. So I'm wondering, I might actually put some lace on this mood board. Yeah, I like that there. So I did that one. This is so delicate. I'd say too delicate. But it does look pretty. Oh, look, to be honest, any one of them could go on there. Even a piece of this really big guy. Like that's pretty, but I think it's a bit chunky for her. Oh, I do like it, but I think that's the one. I think that's the one. I don't know why. My instinct was it was too big and chunky, but that is going on there. All right, well, I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't even expect to be adding lace, to be honest. My thought was some of that, but I don't think it would have worked, actually. Let's pop all that away. I'm just wondering if I should find a small piece of lace for up here to balance it. But I do like the way it's come together. I don't have any really narrow lace from France. I've only got fairly wide. That there is a bit of grammar. Maybe we just put a little morsel of that up there. It's a bit of just a ratty little piece. That would certainly make it feel more interesting, and it'd be nice to preserve a little bit more of that lace within this project, because that's from my grandmother's collection. I like that. That was cut there. Yep, let's do it. Got to stop hoarding these things, guys. All right. That's a good start. And I really like that combination. It's going to be quite interesting to see the different combinations and how they come together. See, this to me is just not going to work. Well, it does work, but I think I prefer that more muted country tones. I don't think there's anything else there I want to bring in at this stage. that's a good start. That's a really good start. So what I will do now, we're coming to the end of our hour. Where did that hour go? Is I will pin all this down. I'll invisible stitch it. I can cut that piece there. I think that can be, yeah, I will invisible stitch it all down and then do some slow stitch over the top. I would like to have like a little featurey thing. I'm sure I'll embroider some flowers and things on her dress. So I'm wondering, is there a spot where I could put something so that I could embroider? Probably not. It's very florally already. I'm going to just trim. See, little pieces like that, just plain, are often good just to pop elsewhere to connect things. Like, I don't think there's a spot there yet. But anyway, stop mucking around, girl. We've got some little pieces anyway for our project. They can be all put together. Ready? I'll probably put a pin in it at the end of the video just to save space in the container. There we go. We've got a mood board with a hint of twile, which I think is a definite. There's going to be a lot of floral. You'd need some stripes and spots and then a hint of lace. Okay. Now, as for stitching, I'm just going to have a look through my cottons, work out what sort of tones we have that could be used. Maybe some of the stitches, like I just spotted this. This is a piece of a little ball of wool that I got in France. Maybe some of this could be couched on just to add some interest to it. I might put that aside. I don't want to fall into the it'll be easy trap and just use. I'm going to jump up and grab some cotton. I don't want to just go for the standard. It's very fresh, but I might try and stretch the boundaries a bit. I do love that wool. This is real narrow, so we want it to be a bit bigger than that. But yeah, I think that'll work really well. There's a possibility I could do a little bit of embroidery on some of these flowers, but we'll see. I think that piece of lace is upside down. It is. That'll work. I still get that straight edge. There we go. That'll work. I might be able to pull that one down a fraction. Yep. And that can go up the top there. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to leave you alone now. I'm going to go and stitch this down this afternoon. Have a little bit of a play with it. See what colours of threads and stitches and who knows. I'm just going to now apply the slow stitch world to my mood board, and I think I'm definitely going to do the four different, completely different colours, and whichever one I think really grabs me, that will be the colours for her little dress. So I think that's the plan. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you alone now. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now. Hi, guys, I'm back. I just had to show you Honey Bear's dress. So after I finished piecing together the mood board, I then had a look at the fabric sitting there, the pattern, and decided that, I couldn't walk away. I had to create her dress. So it was a bit of a palaver, as you can imagine, because I'm not a seamstress, but I got the basics. So the first thing that went wrong, let's go through everything that went wrong, was I didn't notice that I needed 2 of the skirt. I only cut 1. So when that clicked, I thought, uh-oh, have I got enough fabric? But I did. So that was okay. But boy, there was 5 minutes of walking round and round my craft table going, oh, a skirt needs the back. And I should have clicked. It was right in front of me. But anyway, it's okay. I did have a piece that I could use. So that's fine. Then I cut the bodices. That was fine. And as you remember in the pattern, that's the fold to the front of her little dress. The sleeves were too long, so I've shortened them back and I cut that size. Now the sleeves are still way too long, but they do need to be yet hemmed and gathered, and then they puff back up. Now whether that's too much fabric for her little hands and arms, quite possibly, but she would have really puffy sleeves. I think I will leave it, but I haven't done it yet. So at this stage, I've just folded it back out of the way, and that will be a decision another day. But everything else is pretty much come together. So the top of the skirt's gathered and then stitched onto the bodice. I did that first, the front, and I was like, oh, looks gorgeous. Everything was going swimmingly well. Then I realised that Honey Bear's head is not the size of Dolly's head. You see that there is just all one piece with no opening at the back because her head is thin, so it just slides through the little hole. So once I stitched the first part of the bodice to the skirt here, I was like, oh, I've got a problem. I need an opening. So I'll flip her over and you'll see what I ended up having to do. A quick bit of modification on the side. I cut the bodice piece straight down the center. Now, technically there should be a side seam there or a seam allowance there to allow for it to come back to here. But luckily, being that the pattern is so big on her, I could afford to turn in under a little piece of it so that it was nice, straight and tidy. And then once I sort of cut that bodice down, that to me I didn't think it'd be big enough. So I end up having to slip down into the actual skirt itself the same distance, and I've got plenty of space to get her little head through, just. Now then I had to, instead of gathering across the top of the skirt, I had to do it in 2 sections. So a little gather stitch here to pull the skirt in, attach it to that half of the bodice, and then a little gather stitch through here to pull that in to attach to that half of the bodice. And I now have a little opening. I will dress this as we slow stitch our way through the project. There could be some lace or ribbon or fabric, the potential opportunities to do some decorative elements to it will come. So I ended up just doing a zigzag stitch through here. So it's pretty much secure. It's not going to fray, and I can get the dress on and off of her without it sort of, falling to pieces on me. What else have I got to do? Oh, I did do the hem. I left it at the length after all, because I want plenty of real estate to make her dress quite elaborate with lace and patches and treasures and pockets and who knows what. So her skirt itself, I think, stayed around that 37 centimeters, plus I turned it up. So that all worked. Really the only thing now is to decide on her sleeves. I'm happy with the way this fits in under here. It probably could be a little bit tighter in through here, but I want puffy sleeves, and I think if I brought it in too much, it would ruin the opportunity for puffy sleeves. So I think that'll be the last stage. I'll let me get her out of the dress and we'll have a little look at these sleeves. Let's put Honey Bear there. I've got my base now. I've got threads everywhere. Linen is a shocker to sew with, but such a beautiful fabric once you get it wrangled, so to speak. So with the sleeves, what's it say? Just not jumping out at me. Gather to fit the bottom of the bodice. Right side, sew the skirt to the bodice. Place the dress right sides together, sew the side seams. Yep, did all that. Turn a 1 centimetre hem. I did that. Wide lace around the bottom. That will happen one day. Okay, so it doesn't really go into the sleeves, but what I did... Okay, so I just did a running stitch. So what I might do is I'll just turn the edge of her sleeve in so that it doesn't fray. Then a running stitch in some crochet cotton. So that's easy. I can just go ahead and turn that up to hem it. I can then go over those raw edges and finish it off completely. So that's good. All right, so that's where we're at with Honey Bear's outfit. She now has a dress for the party, and it's just a case of make the mood boards to decide, you know, what colours we pop on her little dress. So where's my little mood board? That's it there. So you get a bit of an idea of how this is going to help me decide, you know, what we do and how we do it on the little dress. But we have a dress, so I'm really pleased. This was one of the little stresses I had in the back of my mind was, can I make a little pinafore for her? See, we'll put a lace collar around there. We could have some little pearl buttons going down her back. Oh, the endless possibilities of what we could do to finish off her little dress. But I'll go ahead and just hem this edge, and then I can pop it aside and we're ready for our first prompt for the little dress. All right, guys, thanks for joining me, and I'll leave you alone now, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.